Alright, with the dying of the light and the picking up of the wind, I figured this is a good time to do my general review of my 2020 Street Triple 660S. I've had it for, by the end of this video, 700 kilometers, just over a week. I have a few videos up already about why I picked it, a slight issue it had going back to the dealer, and then I got it back and a solution to that issue. So without further ado, let's start with the negatives. What was bad about the bike? Ignoring the issue it had, because that's been fixed and shouldn't come up again. The first bad thing is when I miss my turn. So here's a good example of a bad issue is the steering lock is not very good. Like in a really tight area where you have to turn sharp, it's not a sharp steering bike. Even compared to other naked sport bikes, it's pretty lackluster. It's not unusable, but I can't even do a U-turn in my parking area, which is made for two small cars. It's even hard to do a regular K-turn. But, you know, it is what it is. Generally, it doesn't cause a problem in 99% of situations, and it's just a nuisance at worst. The next thing is starting. Sometimes it doesn't start great. You have to hold the starter a bit more or give it a bit of throttle just to get it going. That's been getting better with time. There was a point where it was just really, oh no, but it's not much of an issue anymore. The next issue is weird bolts. I'll put a picture somewhere, but when I'm trying to change things like the mirrors or put on my own crash protection that I use, it uses those star type bolts, kind of like Allen keys but stars. I don't like those, and the big reason I don't like them is because that is a really challenging wrench to find. I went all over looking for them. It took me a full day of adventures. Upside is I got to do a full day of adventures. So the next thing was a weird type of vibration. There's really no vibration when I'm riding. It's quite possibly the smoothest bike I've ever ridden. Even the Honda CB650R had a bit more vibration than this. But when I am stopped in neutral and I let go of the clutch, I notice a little bit of vibration there. That vibration is getting better with time as well, and it's again a nuisance more than a problem. On the topic of vibration, the original mirrors, you can see in my first video of why I bought this, I had them in a weird position, but those stock kind of mirrors, they have some vibration when you get around 4,000 and above RPMs. Real quick, these red things are slight speed bumps to stop people from drifting. I don't know if it's working, but it's annoying for me. But yeah, those mirrors had some vibration. These ones are bolted straight onto the handlebars. I'll put a link in the description for what they are, but they are absolutely amazing. There is no vibration all the way up to 130, not that I've done that. And there's no vibration at any RPM, even if I get up to 8,000 RPMs. It's completely fine. And they're really good. The last genuine negative is maybe for you. And this one goes to every Street Triple because it's the underseat area. Part one of that negative is there's not much storage. Like I can't even fit my paperwork for the bike under there. So I have to unbolt the rider's seat and fit it under there, and even then that's a bit tight. The next issue with the underseat is the charger. A good and a bad is they do give you a USB charger as standard, and it's a quick charger, and it's really good. It's made it so I can recharge my GoPro on the go. The downside is it is under the seat, and with that minimal storage, I can barely fit my GoPro under the charger. I can barely fit my phone, which is, you see it here, a Galaxy S10 Lite. I don't like charging there. Like, I like using my phone as a GPS or a whatever. Right now, I can't really charge it if it needs it. Luckily, this has an amazing battery life, but I'm going to probably run a wire from that charger under the tank all the way up to the bars because that's where I use the charging. But that's a mod for a later occasion. So that's it for my negatives. Now let's move to the good and bad, where it's a perspective thing maybe. So the first good or bad, I don't know yet. I've not been caught in rain, but the traction control seems to be good. It did help me not slip out on a bit of a gravelly spot, but the negative, which I don't know is a negative or not, rain mode feels exactly the same as road mode. Chiba's absolutely lovely. This is my first time here and I'm absolutely loving it. So yeah, I don't notice a huge difference between rain and road mode. This is another good bad because it doesn't matter to me, but it might to you. If you want to completely turn off the traction control, you can. You just have to go through the dials on the dash and kind of set it up yourself. I don't really care for it. I like having traction control. That's why I spent more on the bike, to get one with traction control. It's a nice new feature that it would have been nice a few times that I went down in the past. A good bad would also be the ABS, just as a quick thing. You can't turn it off, but this is a road-only bike. So I guess unless you're getting into drifting, which I am absolutely not, I can't figure out why you would want to turn the ABS off. It's not even like a matter of weight savings. Like, that's a dumb way to save weight, in my opinion. But you get ABS, you get always on ABS. I say good, some people are gonna say bad. I think we can blame the EU for that regulation. Another good bad, it's a little leaned forward, but to me, that's a good, because without a windshield, this being my first real naked bike since my original bike 12 years ago, the faster you go, the more you lean forward. It's like a reverse backrest to me. And it can be a bit bad in traffic with a bit of weight on your hands. Right now there's no weight on my hands at all, and I'm going 65 kilometers an hour on a road that I believe has no speed limit. One reason I wanted a more lean forward bike is just so I can practice holding my head up more, get a little more training in my back, and from all the smartphone time, maybe fix my posture a bit. As for the knees, they were a bit more tucked up than most bikes. Like, it's not a super sport. This is not an R6, R1 kind of bike. It's not quite a Honda CB, but it's really close. It's so close that you wouldn't notice the difference between this, the CB, and the Trident unless you're jumping from bike to bike to bike. But the other day I rode this bike for 8 hours. My knees didn't complain once. The seat's pretty comfortable for what it is, but I put a gel pad on it just because, 8 hours, there are no comfortable seats. But yeah, that's it for the so-so stuff. So now let's go to the good bits, which I could call them the good bits or the magically special, wonderful deluxe bits, because I'm absolutely in love with this bike, even with the snafu I ran into the other day. And this road should really explain how amazing this bike is. But let's start with, it's really light. It weighs, I think, 189 wet. All right. Well, in the middle of talking, my camera died, and I had to use this loathsome USB underseat charger. But I think we'll make it to the other end of the video now. A quick overview of what you missed during my ramblings off screen. I think Chiba is my new favorite prefecture for riding, because it is just tremendous. The roads are great. It's not flat, but it's not so mountainous that I'm worried about dying. So where I left off was the what's good stuff. So in no particular order, let's get into what's good about the bike, because I don't know where the camera died. So the first thing I would say is the controls and the clocks. There's an info button to switch through stuff. Right now I've got it on my kilometers per liter. And there's a mode button which you can only switch modes while stopped. And then the adjustment button's up there. So you can adjust your mode from rain to road, which I can't feel a huge difference between them, but maybe the bike can, which is what really matters. I mean, ideally, let's assume you get all the power, it's just the bike's more sensitive to slippage. So, yeah, I like the clocks. They're not a TFT, but I kind of like that. There's, in my opinion, just too much going on with the TFTs. There's I have my own smartphone. I just want a really simple thing. I like LCDs. LCDs also don't tend to break. And I can get a color flip kit, hint hint, and reverse the lighting. The next thing is the bike is super light. It's really easy to ride and push around. The weight is, I think the wet weight is something like 188 kilo, which is pretty good. It puts it comparable to everything in the 650 range, but it makes so much better power than pretty much all of it. The next thing would be the tires. The tires are great. They're Pirelli Diablo Rosso 3, I think. They've given me no grief. The only thing I'm going to hesitate about is that when they die, when they run out of tread, these are not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. And according to Pirelli's website, I should only expect 5,000 kilometers. The tires that come with the Trident and the new version of the MT-07 are what I used in the States, the Michelin Road 5, and those were great in all weather. They were great for my kind of riding. They last for ages. Like after 20,000 kilometers, the front looked pretty much new, and the rear was finally ready for a change. And they're much cheaper than these tires. They're not cheap tires, but they're not expensive, and they are amazing. But these tires are really good since I got them for free. The next thing is the power. In any gear, at any RPM, this thing pulls. And in case my mom's watching, this road has no speed limit, so no dramas here. And I don't know if it looks faster or slower on the camera, but it's completely controllable. And there's not really any wild animals to jump out in this area. The next thing is, let's slow down, kill some of the wind noise, just so I can give you a taste of an exhaust acceleration. This is the stock exhaust. And the stock exhaust is absolutely amazing. I mean, I have no interest in replacing this exhaust. Alright, which way are you telling me to go, road? I guess this way. My GPS just said go straight, and I assume you realize that wasn't a good choice. But this exhaust note is tremendous. Along with the power band, I like the sound of triples, love the sound of triumphs. This is amazing. Like I said earlier, with the power, the exhaust, the tires, it'll tip right over. Oh, there's a baby deer. Right when I said there's no animal, there's a baby deer. I don't know if you saw it. So, I guess we'll be careful. But, on the topic of being careful, let's talk about brakes. These brakes stop really good. That was just 2 fingers, not full squeezing. These are the kind of brakes that are so good, I do not want to show you how good they are. I'm too scared. Like, they're that good of brakes. They're just Nissans. They're supposed to be the same brakes on the Trident from what I'm told, with 2 differences. The first difference is the brake lines are steel braided brake lines, and that comes stock. Like, this bike is value of the decade, I swear. But steel braided brake lines, so you get amazing feel. I personally do feel them a bit better than the Trident and the Honda CB, which also has similar brakes, but they're just Nissans in the front. The back is a Brembo. I can't tell you what exactly. Feel free to go on Triumph's website and inform me in the comments. But the ABS is great. On the rear Brembo, I found a new love for ABS a few days ago when I was driving along, and someone decided to turn through a red light right across all the traffic, and I felt how terrifyingly powerful these brakes are. And the rear brake was juddering pretty aggressively because the ABS was keeping me upright. And I like that. I love when I don't crash. It's a great feeling to make it home without dying. So the brakes are great. The ABS is great. The fuel economy, if you see down there, right here, I'm averaging 20.4 kilometers per liter. It's been steadily increasing, and according to a forum I read, it should continue to get better till at least the first 1,000 kilometers and slightly more for the next 2,000, then it steadies off. I should expect around 22 kilometers per liter. I'll put conversions on the screen for you guys from all the magical places of different unit measurements. And it has a 17.5 liter fuel tank, so I get great range. To me, this is a sport touring motorcycle. And it really, really is, at least for Japan, because Japan's a country where 50 kilometers an hour can quickly feel too fast. So I have no need for a leader bike touring type thing. I don't really like them in the States either, but whatever. Back to this bike, the quick shifter. The quick shifter is an extra, so are my stomp grip tank grips. But the stomp grips work good as expected. Nothing noteworthy, but it's nice to have. Helps my knees pull some weight off my hands. The quick shifter, as I mentioned in my why I bought the bike video, I pretty much don't use the clutch anymore unless I really, really have to. And there's the quick shifter. It's absolutely lovely. I love the quick shifter on this bike. Any bike that can have a quick shifter, I would get the quick shifter. This quick shifter sent me back 80,000 yen, which is something like $800 US. I would say it's worth it. Even if it was $1,000, I would have gotten it. Over that, we'd see, but completely worth it. An amazing investment. If you're getting a Triumph, get a quick shifter, because Triumph makes great quick shifters. I can't say I've used too many quick shifters, but this one's definitely amazing. Nothing feels bad about it. It goes down pretty okay. It goes up great. It goes up enough that you could almost feel like you're on a automatic bike where you just shift, whatever you want. And I do it for that too. Like in town, I just want to be in a higher gear to get better fuel economy, and this bike pulls so good with such a flat torque curve. I just don't want to clutch, so I just click and click and click. And this is a slightly heavy clutch, but the levers are adjustable, so there's another positive. Both are adjustable. I will change because I want a shorter clutch lever. The next thing is the comfort. It's a very comfortable seat for what it is. I did put my gel pad on it because, you know, touring, no seat is comfortable after an 8-hour day, which I have done an 8-hour day on this bike. It's really starting to get dark, maybe too dark for the camera. But I'm almost out of the woods, almost done with my review. The comfort's pretty good. Like I said earlier, you're a little lean forward. I like that on a naked bike because of the wind. And the seat does slope forward a bit, and the back is not so padded. I don't like that so much, but when you're moving along quickly, it can be a helpful thing. Again, I put my gel pad on it. I don't even know what kind of gel pad I got, but it is what it is. But yeah, the last thing was ease of bolting. If you can get around the weird bolts that they use in some spots, it's pretty easy to change stuff and do stuff yourself. I don't know about engine work and all that with the computers and everything, and I don't think I want to, especially because I don't want to void my warranty. On the topic of doing custom modifications, I did talk to Triumph. What can I do? What can't I do? What will affect my warranty, and what affects the laws in Japan? Japan's right in the middle of the US and Europe in that sense. They have a lot of regulations based on safety, but you can put the craziest tail tighty kit you want. You can put the tiniest blinkers, itty bitty mirrors, all that. And the inspection is after 3 years for a new bike, after 2 years for everything else. But the only things that didn't tickle me so much, like the levers are not perfect, the mirrors were not perfect. Obviously, as you can see in this video, I've changed the mirrors. And I'll change the levers. Everything I don't like, I can change or modify. One more like about the bike, the looks. I think it looks amazing. The stop at the train tracks. In Japan, you have to stop at every train track. Doesn't matter if the guards are down, doesn't matter if a train's coming. Because one person one time got hit because one train track was defective. But yeah, the looks, The headlight, I know this is a divisive bike, but it's got such a fan following. I love it. I'm gonna hurt some feelings with some of the modifications I'll do, like luggage. The purists think you shouldn't do luggage on a bike like this. Well, how do I travel? Sorry guys, not your bike. It's amazing. One bonus thing that I learned when I had to put it on a wreck or a tow truck, it's a very easy and light bike to push around. Very effortless in that sense. I've linked videos below to explain what I'm talking about there. And after this, because I don't need to test any more bikes, I got a bike, I'm happy with it. Hopefully it stays good. Now I can focus on adventures and show you places like this and wander around the country, and I can respond to certain questions I've gotten from some people about life in Japan. Here we go. Now the channel can start turning into what I really want it to be, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you stick around. And